Welcome back to the Bandera Tech Ice Dragons Dynasty. We're coming off our first year of competitive play, and yeah, we stunk it up. 0-12 and bottom of the barrel in just about every category. We only put up 17 touchdowns on the season, and we didn't force a single interception. Every quarterback was practically perfect against us. Because of that, we had 5 promising defensive players leave our team for brighter pastures. But I don't know what it is about Coach ASBACK, but he has these guys wanting to be competitive, and the team actually showed some solid progression in the offseason, and we will enter the season at a 70 overall, finally better than the FCS teams in the game. We hit recruiting really hard in season 1, and even though we can only target 1-star recruits, I have a feeling that some of these guys may or may not make an impact at some point over the next 4 to 5 years. I really got my eyes on Eric Reddick, transfer wide receiver who's going to replace Dion Wallace and help out Chase Perkins with the pass game. As for our goals, we went in the hole 0-2 against our New Mexico rivals, and with our record, we didn't even come close to the other goals. But there is some movement on the team that I'm excited about. Junior defensive back Kingsley Reese has progressed to be the highest rated player on our defense, and while he doesn't have breakneck speed, he has an 82 catch, and we should finally start to see some interceptions on this squad. Chase Perkins starred in his freshman year at wideout, leading the team in receptions, total yards, and accounting for half of our total team touchdowns. And we have a new man under center.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Redshirt freshman Brent Winters had a big offseason and edged out new recruits DeMar Paul and Darrell Biggs to take the starting role. And standing at 6'5" with a 91 throw power, we're hoping we can develop an award-winning quarterback here in Grants. And we're in year 2, which means that we can finally start targeting 2-star recruits. And I'm hoping that the addition of some of these guys will help out as our 1-star recruits get better on the bench during their redshirt freshman years. But I gotta say, so far I'm liking what I'm seeing a lot more than last year. So let's strap up our cleats, hit the field, and get ready to win some games. It feels good to be rated higher than at least one team on the schedule. But none of that will matter as it is season 2 and we are back on our bullshit, giving up a one-play touchdown to start the game. We get our first look at Brent Winters, and he will hit Jesus Gutierrez near the sidelines, and he will put on a nasty hurdle as he gets the huge gain. And we get a first look at that 92 arm strength on 3rd and long, and he has Gunderson wide open across the middle, and he's down inside the 20. Kendrick Martin is picking up where he left off last season with a quick first down. And Brent Winters will continue to dazzle, threading the needle on this dot to Scoot McDaniels on the sideline. And Brent Winters will put Bandera Tech up early in this one, hitting the transfer wide receiver Eric Reddick on this deep go route for his first touchdown in the teal and gold. And the defense has been playing great since that first drive as Skates pick up the tackle for a loss. And on 3rd and long, we have everything covered, and the quarterback will just chuck it deep, but we will knock it down incomplete, bringing up the 4th down. And the Brent Winters and Eric Reddick show will continue as Winters scrambles out of the pocket and looks downfield, and he will have Eric Reddick wide open for the huge gain. And that's followed up by an absolute dot right in between the zone to Jesus Gutierrez, and he will zoom into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Ice Dragons have been looking elite all day, and our defense has really stepped it up this half as we get some pressure on the quarterback and we force this underneath completion. And this is exactly where we want to be, 3rd and long, forcing the quarterback to have to make a play, and Randall Glenn is there for the interception, and he has no speed, running like an old man, but that is our first interception in team history. And we're looking to take quick advantage of that turnover, and Brent Winters will hit the spell running back, redshirt freshman Javier Ruiz, and he is in for the score down the left sideline, and it is getting ugly here in Grants, New Mexico. 3 first-half touchdowns for Brent Winters in his debut game. We can't be happier, and we will do the improbable and break our 12-game losing streak and our season opener behind the performance of this young man, freshman redshirt quarterback Brent Winters, who put up amazing numbers today with a 400-yard performance. We wouldn't be able to start a win streak, but we didn't do as bad as I thought we would against 7th-ranked Georgia. Winters struggled, but Kendrick Martin carried the load and had a solid game with 2 scores. We get our first signing of the season with Rasheem Kalu, and I'm excited to see what he can do for us on defense. And I'm going to target Dean Eagles here because Winters is going to need all the weapons he can get as this team becomes more competitive. And we'll drop our 2nd game in a row to Georgia Southern, but I'm not that upset about a 5-point loss on the road. Winters and Martin looked solid again, and Eric Reddick is slowly turning into our primary receiver. We got New Mexico State next, who we had our closest game against last season. And one thing that has not changed from last season to this year is this kid Cameron Poe, who's still a beast as he wiggles through the defense for this big first down on 3rd and 5. I mean, he literally just zigzagged on me like we're playing Madden 13 as he skates in for the touchdown. But Brent Winters has no fear as he will find his new favorite target, Eric Reddick, for the first down. And he's already got 100 yards passing this quarter. And we'll go further into our bag of tricks on the touchbacks here as Gutierrez turns the corner for another first down pickup. And we are a running back by committee team this year, which helps keep Kendrick Martin fresh as he picks up 10 yards here, which allows him to be a consistent threat as Winters will scramble to the right and he has Kendrick Martin wide open for the touchdown. And Kendrick Martin is our speed guy. He is our X factor. And it was such a travesty that he only saw the end zone 3 times last season. But we still lack identity on defense as we come out and we get carved up on every single pass play. And if it isn't the pass, it's Cameron Poe gouging us for yet another big gain. But what we lack in skill, we make up for in heart, as Ellinger will climb the ladder and get this big pick in the end zone to give us back possession. And I've sung his praises all season, but Brent Winters will come out here and make a boneheaded play and give the ball right back to New Mexico State with this interception. And just like that, New Mexico State will tie this one up. But we're not giving up on the fight here just yet, as our defenders are in the right spot as we get this 3rd and long stop to force the punt. But pressure must be getting to us as Scoot McDaniel will drop this wide open pass. And on 3rd down, Eric Reddick will drop a pass and we have to give the ball right back to New Mexico State. Poe has been dominating this game, but we get the stop here to bring up 2nd and long. And we almost mess up here on the user bait, but we get back in position right in time to force the incompletion and bring up 4th down. And a big boot gives them the lead before half. And Bandera Tech comes out in the 2-minute offense, and Martin gets 7 to start things off. But 2 back-to-back bad passes brings up 4th down. And Coach ASBACK smells blood, but will get stopped for a turnover on downs. And a methodical drive by New Mexico State gets them in the position that they need to be to score this touchdown at the end of the half and go up by 10 here. But just like in our matchup last year, you can't count us out as Reddick gets behind the defense for a huge gain to get us all the way down to the 13-yard line. And Shea Perkins finally shows up this season, putting his body on the line to get down to the 1. And Kendrick Martin will cap off this drive, getting the lead back down to 3. Now, we've been struggling against the pass all day, but this is just the refs bailing them out here, as we would get called for this pass interference on this deep play. And they will immediately take advantage of our misfortune by getting all the way down inside the red zone in this curl route. And Stanley will put this drive away with a 9-yard touchdown run. And we're only down by 10, but Winters is getting desperate here as he throws it up into double coverage, but we can't make the play off the tip. And on 3rd and long, it's another desperation play, and Milan can't get there in time. And everybody knows I only show punt returns on this channel if it's a big play or a touchdown, and Stanley will get stripped. He drops the ball, but he picks it up, recovers his own fumble, and there is no way. Stanley is down the sideline and in for the touchdown on the punt return. And when it rains, it pours. We couldn't keep it together, and we fell apart in the second half. New Mexico State took advantage of that and whooped our ass behind this man right here. And for the 2nd year in a row, we cannot stop the run or Cameron Poe, and we are now 0-3 against our New Mexico rivals. But Ali McCrary wins Mountain West Player of the Week. And we signed Kendrick Martin's potential replacement in Mike Falk. But we need to focus on defense as Cade Bloom wins National Player of the Week in a loss. And this was our 2nd solid showing against a top 25 team, but we can't crack it to the win column as we drop another game. Brent Winters stunk it up with 3 picks, and we give up 10 fourth-quarter points to lose our 6th straight to Wyoming. I realize I've been calling Scott McDaniel Scoot this entire time, and I signed his potential replacement, Dean Eagles, for next season. But we're 1-6, and we need a win against an even-ranked Hawaii team because our seed is getting hotter and hotter each day. And our defense knows it too, as Randall Glenn almost picks off this pass by General Booty. And we'll quickly get to see what our offense can do as we force the 3 and out. And Kendrick Martin pulls out his best interpretive dance moves and picks up 8 here. And Shea Perkins, who's had a quiet year so far, but he's wide open on this 3rd down conversion. The new star of this offense, Eric Reddick, picks up 8 yards on this bubble screen, getting down to about the 12. while our highest rated offensive weapon, Kendrick Martin, caps off this drive and gives us the lead with a touchdown. But General Booty's got answers, as he will find a man wide open and he is down the field all the way inside the red zone. And I make the dreaded mistake of pulling my guy out of coverage, and General Booty has a man wide open for a touchdown. Kendrick Martin will continue his impressive season as he makes the catch, and he almost breaks loose on this one. And Scott McDaniels proves why he's one of the better receivers on this team with this catch and fight for extra yardage. And we're faced with a 4th and short, and Kendrick Martin will pick it up here, but we are hit with a holding call. And this one will come back and we'll have to punt. And we had a chance to get Hawaii off the field quickly, but Landon Sims will stretch this one to the outside and make us look foolish as he picks up the first down. But we'll survive this drive by General Booty and the Warriors as we force the field goal here, giving the Warriors a 10-7 lead late in the half. But despite our record, no one has a better 2-minute offense than us, and Eric Reddick is behind the defense for a big first down. And Kendrick Martin will get the ball on the quick count, and he is almost into the end zone, down to the 3-yard line. But it's our short-handed tight end, Scott McDaniels, who will wrap up this drive with a 3-yard touchdown catch, giving us a 14-10 lead at the half. And we begin the second half with another short yardage situation and another hold, and these are becoming real drive killers. But we'll pick up 11 here on 3rd and 12, and we might go for it again on 4th. We want to see if we can get the defense to jump, but we'll jump, and now it's 4th and 6, and we'll have to punt it away. And it's almost like our misfortunes compound on top of one another, as number 2 will field this punt, and we will not be able to bring him down, and he is going to go all the way to the end zone for a big punt return for his team. But we'll have a chance to answer right away, and we'll turn back to our run game, and we'll get a big first down run by Javier Ruiz. But we are right outside of field goal range, so we'll have to go for it on 4th and long, and there is a flag on the play, and Brent Winters also throws an interception, and we are letting this one slip out of our hands. And it won't take General Booty long to make us pay for another mistake, as Sidney Stovall gets torched and Hawaii has another touchdown. And we've totally lost the plot, as Landon Sims will bully his way into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown. And just like that, another loss behind another 4th quarter collapse, and I don't know if we're going to have our jobs much longer. Landon Sims did whatever he wanted to us today, and we dropped to 1-7. And we'll drop another game to fall to 1-8. And the worst thing is, we play better in the games we simulate than the one we play. But through 9 games, Brent Winters isn't having a terrible season, and he actually has as many touchdown passes as we had total touchdowns last year. But I think the story is Kendrick Martin and his drastic turnaround from last season. But really it's the receiving core, with guys like Reddick and Gutierrez really taking charge this season. And Kingsley Reese and Randall Glenn both have 2 interceptions. But just like last year, we're not forcing that much pressure on the quarterback. But at least we don't have the worst offense this season. But if you're looking at the numbers, we're damn near the bottom of the barrel in terms of rush defense, and dead last in sacks. And I will give us props for protecting the ball this season, but we just haven't taken the ball away that much either. But we got 3 games left, and I'm hoping we can pull off at least 1 victory. But we'd lose 2 more back-to-back, including this close one against UNLV, and we almost came back in the 4th quarter. But going into this final game, we'll be without our leading receiver and several other players who are facing serious injuries. And we're going to need other players to step up, including Javon Moore, who hasn't seen the field much this season. And we definitely need some new corners because, boy, these guys are slow. But Brent Winters will come out on 1st down 7, and hit Scott McDaniels for a huge gain down the midfield. And we'll look to build off that big play, but Winters will throw it right to the defense for an interception. And we have a trend of having to pay for our mistakes, and that'll continue here as Sutton picks up the big first down. And San Diego hits us with the hurry up, but Ellinger is there for the big hit. But our lack of speed comes back to bite us in the ass as we get cooked by the tight end here, and he breaks a bunch of tackles, getting down all the way to the 3-yard line. And Duffy finds a man wide open, and we're down 2 scores. And Brent Winters needs somebody on this offense to wake up, and he will throw a pump fake, and he has Javon Moore, who snuck behind the defense, racking up a ton of yards before getting tackled inside the 15. And it's a big 3rd down, and Winters has McDaniels across the middle, but he drops it, bringing up 4th. And we'll settle for 3 points here, and it's 14-3 here in the 1st. San Diego State comes out looking to answer, and Ellinger's there for another big hit. And they try to catch us slipping with a hurry up, and Duffy has a man, but Randall Glenn gets there with the diving deflection. And Javon Moore is back filling in on punter duty for Eric Reddick, and he has a seam here, and he will get out in space down the midfield with a big return. Brent Winters comes out, sends a man in motion, and it's Jesus Gutierrez whose wheels will get him all the way out to the 43-yard line. And you take a look at Kendrick Martin, who's been having a career year, and it will continue as he breaks the run up the left sideline, and he's in for a touchdown. And what a season for Kendrick Martin, bouncing back from a season-ending injury last year and putting up his best numbers yet. But Duffy responds, hitting his tight end James right up the seams, and then dialing up the bubble screen on the very next play, and just like that, they're already in plus territory. And this tight end has been giving us fits all game as he catches the corner out, makes Ellinger miss, and he's in for another score. But we have a go-to guy of our own, as Kendrick Martin will take the rock up the sideline, and nobody will catch him, and he will score. And we are going back and forth here in San Diego. But we can't stop the Aztecs. All we can do is hope to keep up, as Brent Winters will break out down the left sideline and pick up this first down with his legs. And the pass game has struggled so far, but it'll hit Che Perkins with a beautiful pass for another first down, getting us deeper inside of Aztec territory. But after a holding call, this drive is on the brink, but Brent Winters will thread the needle to Dontrell Bennett down to the 1-yard line. And the future feature back of this team, Javier Ruiz, will run it in from the 1, and it's still close here in San Diego. And it's got to be the hurry-up offense, because San Diego State is hitting us with anything, and our defense is just flailing all over the field. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, they got people open every play. And there's that tight end again, working his way up the sideline. And he makes a man miss, and he's down inside the 30. And I'm just praying for this quarter to end, because Duffy is having a career half. And he's about to pick up his 4th touchdown pass here in the first half. But Winters isn't going to let that clock tick away. He's going to try and make something happen. And he's hit Moore, who's all the way down to the 35-yard line. And with 23 seconds left, that's plenty of time. And the defense bites, and Moore is wide open. And he will score a touchdown here, and Bandera Tech is back into this one. And shootout is right. And at halftime, this game has been absolutely broken, as we can't stop each other's offenses at all. And we'll continue this dominant run game as Javier Ruiz comes out and picks up 9 on first down. But Brent Winters will get greedy here, passing up on the open running back and throwing it into a tight coverage. And that's another interception. And it don't matter how many guys we got in his way, this tight end is always wide open as he makes another grab. And we need to get off the field here, but Duffy will hit his running back on the screen, and that is a big first down to keep the drive alive. And this defense couldn't stop a snail from speeding, as they'll give up their 5th touchdown pass of the game here. And Brent Winters has to answer here, down by 10, but he'll throw another interception. And this one is ran back to the house for a pick 6.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And after all the praise for protecting the ball this season, Winters has struggled this game, but it'll let Gutierrez up the sideline for a big gain. And the slot streak has been there from all gain as Javon Moore gets his 2nd touchdown. And a quick drive like that will keep us in this game, but we need big plays like this on defense, and what? I have no words for what I just saw. It bounces right off of Randall's hands and into the running back's hands, and he gets a huge first down on what should have been a 3 and out. And it's just not meant to be, as we find ourselves down by 16 in the 4th quarter, and just like that, another big play by the Aztecs as they get the kick return touchdown here. And we've been outscored 30-10 since halftime. But it's not over yet, as Brent Winters will find Che Perkins, and he will shrug off the defender, and he is in for the end zone to make this a little bit more respectable. And we have another opportunity to get off the field on 3rd down, but Lucky Sutton has other plans, and he is off to the races for another score to put this one out of reach. But we have a never say die attitude, and Javon Moore will put the stamp on a legendary performance, and he will spring loose down the sideline for the kick return touchdown, the first in our school's history. But it won't be enough, as we fall 63-81 to San Diego State in our season finale. That's a college basketball score. Duffy was lights out against us with an almost perfect game. But with numbers like we put up offensively, we should have never lost. Brent Winters threw for over 600 yards, but those 4 interceptions really came back to hurt us. And Kendrick Martin wrapped up his playing career with another great performance. But it was Javon Moore, picking up National Player of the Week with 300 receiving yards and 4 total touchdowns. And Winters turned in a pretty solid freshman campaign with 3,500 yards and 22 touchdowns, while Kendrick Martin rode into the sunset with 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. But it was Gutierrez shocking and leading the team in receiving yards after Reddick went down with injury. But our defense stunk it up again, and after that 81-point debacle against San Diego State, we led the nation in points allowed. Drew Alar from Penn State wins the Heisman Trophy, and Kansas State outlasts Penn State by 1 point to win the national championship. And that wraps up season 2, and we had another disappointing season, finishing 1-11. And all I can hope is that one of these one-star recruits that I redshirted at the beginning of the year turns into a star for me, or else we might not ever win another game. It's got to be pretty obvious that the Candelaria family and all the investors are not really feeling how Coach ASBACK is leading this team, but I think we got a lot of promise and talent coming down the pipeline as we look to be able to recruit 3-star recruits next season. But keep it locked into this channel as we find out what happens in year 3 next week. Until then, you know the drill. Stay safe, stay conscious. I'm out of here. Peace.